A sales page is a standalone page with the sole purpose of converting that reader to a buyer. It includes all of the information they need to know about that product or service. It includes features, benefits, calls to action, price, everything somebody needs to know to click the buy button. Now, a sales page is just one part of a marketing ecosystem. Typically, somebody will land on a sales page after they've consumed some other type of content, whether it be an ad, an email, a social media post. They somehow learned about you and wound up on your sales page, and that's your opportunity to convert them to a buyer. A well-written sales page can help you make a lot of money as a business owner or as a freelancer who writes sales pages for your clients. You're going to want to take notes because this is a masterclass in sales page writing. I am a freelance copywriter. I'm going to be sharing the principles that I've learned from some of the greats like Donald Miller, Amy Porterfield, Russell Brunson, Dan Kennedy. So the methodology that I'm going to be teaching you on how to write your sales page, understand that these principles are a mix from all these different teachers compounded into what I've seen firsthand as a copywriter. I'm going to first explain to you what a sales page is and how you can use it. And then I'm going to go through section by section, telling you exactly what to write and why what you're writing works and the psychology behind it. I'm Christine from paidcopywriter.com. I help aspiring writers leave their 9 to 5 to become full-time freelance writers who work on their own schedule without a boss, without a commute, and actually like what they do for a living. So definitely subscribe to this channel. Make sure you comment down below because I love getting conversations started in the comments section. Now, this is really important and probably the biggest mistake people make when writing any piece of copy or content with the intent to sell. It's that they jump into the writing process without understanding their target persona. You need to understand who you're writing toward. How pretty your words are and how great you sound is really irrelevant compared to whether or not you are speaking to one specific persona and tapping into their fears and their desires and their goals. The big mistake that so many people make is that they have too wide of an audience or they're not targeting someone specific at all. A perfect example of a persona would be moms who want to lose postpartum weight, aspiring writers that want to leave their 9 to 5 jobs and become full-time freelancers. It's not just saying moms, it's not just saying 9 to 5ers, it's saying this is a specific person in a specific situation that wants something, right? Moms who want to lose postpartum weight is way more specific than new mothers or mothers, right? And that's where a lot of people go wrong. So make sure you understand in depth who you are writing toward, what their situation is, what their level of knowledge is, where they are in their lives, and what they want. And that requires a specific amount of research. And as copywriters, this is something we spend the majority of our time doing, maybe even more time than the actual writing. So if you could just remember that formula, it's demographic who want desire, right? So demographic is moms who want to lose postpartum weight. That's the desire. The next big thing you need is to understand what transformation your product or service is offering the reader. Because the only reason somebody is on your sales page is to take them from where they are now to where they want to be. They want to go from their stuckness, their problem, to the solution, the end goal. If you are a new mom trying to lose postpartum weight, have the extra weight on you and you want to transform to somebody who is 15 pounds lighter. That is the transformation. This is also sometimes called a promise. But what you're doing is you're guaranteeing that if they do click buy, they're going to wind up in a different state and they are going to accomplish or achieve something. So for my course, it's land your first high paying client in less than 30 days, right? I could go on and say a bunch of different things about how you're going to build this freelance business. You're going to choose your high paying niche because those are all things that people achieve in my course. But I need to get really specific in my sales page and tell writers that by the end of the 30 days, and if you do the steps that I prescribe, you're going to wind up with your first high paying client in less than 30 days. And that's really key because once you do it once, you can rinse and repeat. Think about what your specific transformation or promise is, and that's what's going to motivate somebody to click buy. The next thing you're going to need to know is their biggest pain points. Every product or service solves a pain point. Everybody has an issue that they want to solve. What is the blocker? What is the obstacle? What is the one thing that's standing in the way of them getting what they want? You really want to poke and prod at their pain points. What are their problems? So for the postpartum mother demographic, the pain point could be something like, you want to lose the weight, you want to eat healthy, and you want to exercise, but you just don't have the time because you have a baby. That's their obstacle. That's their pain point, is that you want to get healthy, but you don't have the time. Talking about how that demographic is busy is going to tailor all of your copy and all of your messaging towards somebody whose biggest problem is busy, is time, right? Because you're not going to write a sales page saying, hey, at the end of this 6-month program where you're going to work out for 2 hours a day and only eat this amount, that doesn't cater to their problem, which is lack of time. You want to make sure that the solution you're offering is tailored to the problem they have, which is lack of time. And then the final thing, which will probably be the easiest, is just your offer logistics. What is the price? How many modules? How is your service or your coaching package structured? What are the bonuses they'll get if they enroll in your course or your program or your product? The logistics, I would say, are probably the easiest part because they exist. You could just gather that information. But again, we are going to plug and play with this sales page. So you're going to want to know what your offer is. Do you have a payment plan? Stuff like that. Now that you have that out of the way, once you know that, we can get into the actual construction of the sales page. I'm Christine from paidcopywriter.com. I help aspiring writers leave their 9-to-5 to become full-time freelance writers who work on their own schedule without a boss, without a commute, and actually like what they do for a living. I teach the principles that I used to go from somebody in an unrelated career field to self-employed full-time freelancer. And I love sharing those tips. So definitely subscribe to this channel because I'm not only giving writing tips, I'm giving freelance business tips as well, all for free. Your sales page is always going to start with a headline and a hook. Your headline or your hook is the first thing somebody sees when they hop on your page. And that's your opening. That's your opportunity to hook the reader, garner their interest, and compel them to keep reading. So that's what your hook is supposed to accomplish. Your headline and your hook is one of the most important parts of your sales page. Therefore, it's worth the most time when it comes to writing and tinkering with. Your headline is a concise yet powerful, curiosity-inducing line. Your headline is going to be this concise phrase that makes readers want to read on, but it also clearly communicates the benefit that they're going to get. This phrase really needs to capture why they should want your product and why they want to learn more. Now, the best way to teach how to write a headline or hook is just to show you examples of really successful sales pages that are doing it right. Instead of just conceptually speaking, I really want to show you the nitty-gritty and show you examples of what your headline should look like. I learned this from Russell Brunson. He's the funnel guy, and he basically breaks down his headline framework or his hook, as he calls it, into a formula that is basically my blank step process for blank. Okay. So my 5-step process for landing your first high paying client. It's the amount of steps, it's indicating a framework or a path, and then it's talking about the end result, which is losing weight or landing a high paying client. For weight loss, it could be my 6-step process for losing the baby weight for good. My 3-step process for losing the baby weight without excessive exercise and hours of cardio, something like that. So here we are on Jenna Kuchar's sales page for her program, the Instagram Lab. As you can see, she follows that framework I mentioned before, Russell's hook framework, which is my blank step process for end result. So as you can see right here for her headline, it's like, you know exactly what you're going to get. This is an Instagram course. This is something that teaches you how to use Instagram. And then she says it's her proven stress busting plan to showcase you, your brand, and your message, all while converting followers into engaged paying clients. So she's basically saying this is going to be my stress busting plan to convert paying clients, right? The plan is her course, and the end result is converting followers into clients. And as you can see, she has the pain points built right in there, stress busting, because she just understands clearly that her audience is stressed out and overwhelmed with all things Instagram. Now we're on Alex Catani's page. She sells a copywriting course, and basically she took another angle with her headline where she basically says, here's what you're going to learn how to do, here's the end result, and this is the time frame in which you're going to achieve it, right? So you're going to learn copywriting skills, you're going to write an irresistible portfolio. The end result is that you're going to launch this copywriting business, and it's only going to take you 8 weeks. Putting a time frame is really compelling because it really conveys urgency and allows people to see the end result a little bit sooner. Here we are on Growth Day, which is Brendan Burchard's courses. He took a little bit of a different approach here where he's basically doing the formula. It's like, hey, I know you want to change your life. Here's a structured learning path to do it. It's like your goal is to change your life. My proven process is how you're going to change your life. Something that really called to me about his sales page is that customers call it the Netflix of personal development. So using a catchphrase or allowing people to understand what the program is like. They're making that inference, right? Because most of us know, I would say 99% of us know what it's like to navigate Netflix. We're, scrolling this interface and choosing the movie we want. Imagine being able to do that with personal development courses. So again, it's a bit of that future pacing, like, that thing you do, well, that's how I can format this. That's how easy I can make that for you. And now we're going to go on to section 2, which is what I call the interest section. Now, this is based off of a copywriting framework called AIDA, AIDA. It's probably the most well-known copywriting framework. It stands for attention, interest, desire, and action. So your headline is what captures their attention, right? You've captured their attention in some sort of way for them to land on your page to begin with, your sales page. So the attention part is done. Now we're going to move to interest. And the analogy I like to use is that once you've captured somebody's attention, your next job is to keep them interested. So I'll just give an example for dating. Yes, your pretty looks or being hot will get you attention, but what's going to keep your date or your prospective dates interested in actually wanting to continue to date you or see you? You have to provide something more than just the attention piece. You have to say something or be something or have a personality that keeps someone's interest. And that's what we're doing with the sales page, is that we're piquing interest. And keeping someone interest on a sales page just means that we're keeping them progressing down the page and keeping them moving. We accomplish that with an interest statement. This is a statement that automatically, your audience, your readers are going to identify with, agree with, and generally just nod their head. That's a Dan Kennedy sales page principle. You want to say statements off the bat that make somebody nod their head in agreement. You want them to be reading these descriptions and saying, yes, that's me. So the formula you can use for this is you have desire, you have pain point, you desire this, but your obstacle is this. Let me explain to you. This would be, you have 15 pounds of postpartum weight and you have no time to spend hours at the gym and meal prepping. You want to feel confident and look better, but you're just so busy and you don't know how you're going to fit it in. That's an example of interest, right? That's something that will keep their head nodding. I'm going to show you how Justin Welsh does this on his sales page right here. On Justin Welsh's page, as you can see, it's his headline and his hook. He goes right into his testimonials. And right here is his interest section. It basically says, are you trying to decide if this is for you? This is for you if. And I also like that he says who should not buy this course. Again, this is just about understanding that you don't want bad customers. You don't want just anyone to buy. You want the right people to buy. This section can weed certain people out. And then also I like that he said, is this a copywriting course, to distinguish that, hey, there's a common misconception that I'm going to teach you copywriting, and no, that's not it. So, and then he offers a link right to more FAQs. This is a great interest section. Section 3 is future pacing. When you future pace in copywriting, you're painting a picture or simulating an outcome that the reader can envision themselves stepping into. It's a really powerful way to get somebody to commit to something because they can imagine it already happening. You're creating an emotional connection between the reader and their desired outcome, their dream, their goal. It creates this psychological link between what they're feeling right now and what they could be feeling once they buy your product, take your course, whatever. So it's really important to infuse the language that your audience already uses in their day-to-day to make this really compelling and convincing. This is not the time in your sales page where you want to be talking about how much hard work and how grueling or how long it'll take to lose weight. You really want to be painting a picture of what they'll feel like once they lose that weight. Imagine being able to show up at the beach and not feel insecure. Imagine not being embarrassed to pose in that bikini photo with your girlfriends on vacation. Right? You want to paint a picture of what they'll feel once they have their transformation with your product. Now I'm going to show you someone who does this really well, Adam Enfroy. He runs a course called Blog Growth Engine, a course that I'm actually taking right now. So this sales page definitely worked on me. And I want to explain to you what he did with future pacing and the technique he used here. I'm on Adam Enfroy's sales page. He sells Blog Growth Engine. I want to share with you the part of his sales page where he future paces. So imagine yourself making an extra $10,000 per month. What would that mean for you? So you see, you're painting a picture of what the transformation could be and actually asking them to think about it. Like, no, just stop for a minute. You're reading the sales page, but just imagine what your life would be like if you were making $10,000 a month. Really think about it. What would you do with this level of income? Who would you become if you didn't have to worry about money? It's about being in control of your life, spending more time doing what you love, having more time with your family. All this is possible. I've done it. So that's a really good example of future pacing. Now, section 5 of your sales page is going to be social proof and testimonials. This is where you want people who have bought your product and had a good experience to write about it. Social proof is so incredibly powerful, especially in the digital marketing, online commerce world that you're dealing with. We love reading reviews, even if it's for a $3 product on Amazon. We want the highest rated $3 product. With Yelp, going out to eat. We like to think that we're independent thinkers, but we so need the validation that comes with a large group of people having done something and gotten a good result. It allows us to establish trust, and getting somebody to trust us online is really difficult because you're just a person on the internet. So if they see the faces and the words of people who are in their specific situation and also did get the transformation, that's super compelling. Now, if you don't have anybody to write those testimonials because your product or your service is new, or you're just coming out the gate and you haven't made any sales yet, what I want you to do is get somebody to write something positive about you. It could be somebody who has worked with you and can attest that you are good at what you do, that you're competent, that you're trustworthy. It's not the most compelling, but it'll speak to your character, and it'll just have somebody attest to the fact that you can be trusted. And then as you go, you really want to do everything you possibly can to gather those testimonials and build social proof as you go. Yes, you have to ask for them. People will rarely go out of their way to do it. You have to be aggressive and ask for them. Don't be ashamed. And then you want social proof really sprinkled throughout your entire sales page. It's really compelling. The best way to format a testimonial is to have their quote talking about you, their picture, and their name. Now, section 6 is going to be your call to action. This is where they have gotten through all those sections of your sales page, the interest, the attention, the testimonials, social proof, and now you want to get them to take an action. You should have about 3 to 5 different calls to action throughout your sales page, but I want you to watch till the end because I'm going to show you the strategic places you should be putting your calls to action for the highest likelihood of conversion. However, I do want to emphasize that this should be section 6 of your sales page, because at this point you've gotten the social proof out of the way and you've given some basics about what they can achieve, and there's certain people who are going to be visiting your sales page that are going to know already that you're right for them, and you want to give them the opportunity to make the purchase pretty early on versus having to scroll and search. So make sure section 6 is your call to action. Now, section 7 is your features section. Features mean, okay, what are the nitty gritty? What am I actually going to get? What is this product? Up until now, you've been talking about the benefits and the outcomes and the goals that they'll be able to achieve with your product. But now they want to know the nitty gritty, the details. How many modules? How many coaching sessions do I get? What is the package? What is the service? So for an online course, it's pretty straightforward. You list out the name of your module and go into detail about what they'll get in each module, the outcomes they'll get. And I'll show you an example of this, but it's important that even as you list your features, you tell them what the benefit of that feature is. So instead of saying module 5 will teach you how to choose your niche, I want to exemplify why it's important to choose your niche and how I will help you choose your niche and the outcome or the benefits that they'll get. Features are really important, but you always want to tie them to what the reader or the prospect is going to get out of that feature. What does that feature do for them at the end of the day? Because nobody cares about features. They really care about what those features ultimately do for them. Section 8 is going to be your bonuses. So on a sales page, it's always really important to include a little extra something that they get. Maybe it could be just bonuses you offer in addition to the course. It's really key with bonuses to remember that bonuses are supplementary. You want to make sure that this bonus is not critical to get the transformation, right? So I'll give you a prime example. In my course, 30 Days to Paid, I teach freelancers how to land high-paying freelance writing clients. One of my bonuses is using the LinkedIn job search feature. Now, you don't need to use the LinkedIn job search feature to get the outcome. You don't need to use that feature to land high-paying clients. However, it is something that's going to ultimately help you, and it's something that writers and freelancers should have in their arsenal, and it's good to know. However, if that bonus was removed, my student still gets the outcome, which is using LinkedIn to land high-paying clients via cold pitching, but they don't need that feature. So make sure your bonuses are nice to haves, they're compelling, they motivate them to take action. They're not going to take away from the offer if that bonus wasn't there. People are really motivated by bonuses. They really want to know that, oh, if I get that, I get this. It's just like when you go to Sephora or if you're buying makeup online, there's usually a little checkbox of like, get your free gift here. We want to know that we're getting the absolute most for what we're paying, and bonuses are really compelling. So section 9 is going to be a recap section. It's going to be the summary. It's going to be the part of your sales page where you basically condense everything they're going to get into this one section to reiterate the value that they're going to get from your course or your service. So pretty much you're going to re-emphasize your features and your benefits in this section. Now, section 10 is really important. It's the guarantee. Not every course creator or coach or product or service provider is going to offer a guarantee, but nowadays I do think it is really critical to offer some type of guarantee. It gives somebody that final push or that final piece of comfort they need to jump off the ledge and take that action. Especially if you have a higher ticket course, it might be a good idea to include this guarantee. The type of guarantee is going to be highly based on what you're comfortable with. You can do a 5-day money back, no questions asked. You just request a refund and you get it, or another type of guarantee, which is, hey, if you do the work and you actually go through the modules and you consume this and somehow decide that it's not right for you and you've done the work and you're not getting the result, then prove it to me and I'll give you the discount. There's so many different schools of thought on how you should handle money back guarantees, and you just have to find the one that's right for your business. What I do on my sales page is that I offer a money back guarantee, and then it leads to my terms page, which will spell out what you need to do to get your money back. The next section is your FAQ, frequently asked questions. This is really, really important because this is your opportunity to overcome objections. Because as somebody reads your sales page, there's a little bullet list in their mind saying, yeah, this sounds great, but what if this? Yeah, that sounds great, but what about this? All of these sales objections about their rational mind, giving them reasons why this could potentially not work, or points of confusion or additional questions. You can call them objections or you could call them buying questions. I used to actually be in sales, like in-person B2B technology sales, and we would be trained on how to answer objections and answer buying questions to keep the conversation moving. And when you write a sales page, you're doing that, but with words. And the hard hard part about copywriting is that you don't have that in-person aspect where somebody voices their concern and then you overcome or answer and soothe their fear so that the conversation can keep moving. So as a writer, what you need to do is actually anticipate what it is that they're going to be asking. You need to anticipate what their worries, their fears, their hesitations are. There's the research element again. You need to understand what the most common objections are going to be to your product or service and what those fears are, and you need to address them one by one. Also, this is your opportunity to really show that you understand your reader and really get inside their head. When they see their fears and objections answered in the FAQ, it gives a sense of relief, like, oh, other people have asked this too. I know this is common. It's not just me. And she even has an answer for it. That's amazing. So you want to stay really positive, but also realistic in your FAQs. That could also be your opportunity to say, listen, here's the deal. You're going to have to obviously put in work to get this result. But if you are willing to do the work, I'm here to guide you. Something like that, where you're leveling with people. You're not just promising them the world. I'm really big on this because I think the trend that's going to be moving forward is going to be authenticity and transparency, and the marketers who are promising such outrageous results and making these gigantic claims, I think that there's going to be less tolerance for that in 2023 and beyond. I think transparency and leveling with people is really important in this FAQ while keeping it positive and motivating and hyping them up at the same time. If you don't know the most frequently asked questions, you definitely want to be polling your audience and asking people what would make you hesitate. What are your fears? What would make you not want to take my course? What questions do you have? And you want to be incorporating those questions that you're fielding into this FAQ. Section 12 is going to be for Section 12 is going to be for your fence sitters, your people who are just really, who know they want to buy, but they definitely just are not sure. This section is going to be called Objections plus Interest. In this section, you want to continue to address their objections and remind them about why they should be interested. This section will be easy for you because it combines what you've already written. In this section, you're again bringing their objections to the top. You're bringing up their objections. You're acknowledging their hesitations and saying, you probably think this is great, I know, but you probably still have some doubts. Let's recap here. Let's reiterate on why you're interested in this to begin with. And that's when you bring up what you wrote in your interest part of your page, which is, hey, you're interested if you want this and this and this. The final section is your closing or conclusion, right? So this is where you really want to end your sales page on a more personable note. You've taken them through all of these buying cues, right? You've piqued their interest. You've shown them social proof. You've given them what they need. And now you need to get a little bit more personable and show them who you are, why you created this, why they should choose you, why you're different. It's basically an emotional appeal, and it's a way to build personal rapport, now that you've gotten all the logistics out of the way. So you want to be reiterating that they're in the right place, that there's this risk-free guarantee, and just sharing why you're excited for them and what motivated you to create this course. It's your big why, essentially. This is going to be your final invitation before you sign off. Now, if you've stayed till the end, I want to reward you by telling you exactly where you should be placing your CTA to create the most conversions possible, right? This is very strategic about where these are placed. So I've already told you, number one, where to put your first call to action. It's basically right after you've given your social proof, because at that point, there's some people who have landed on your sales page that already know they want to buy, and you want to make that as easy as possible. There's people who are just going to be sold and don't need to go through the whole sales page, so put it right there. Now, your second call to action should be under the logistics and the bonuses, right? So now you've given them enough and you've shown them what's in the course, what they're actually going to get. Boom, call to action. People might be sold at that point. You want the ability for them to click a buy button. Your third call to action is going to be underneath the guarantee. So for those people who just needed to know that there was some type of guarantee, they were sold on you, they were excited, but they're scared that they'll make a mistake and they'll get screwed out of their money. Now they've gotten your guarantee that has soothed their fears. Boom, you want that click to buy button right there. And the final call to action is just going to be at the very bottom of your sales page, either right above your sign off or right underneath your sign off. And those are for the people who need to read every single word of your sales page and understand your full offering and everything you have to say in order to feel comfortable buying. So the cool thing about calls to action is that they address every type of buyer, the people who just buy and they know they want it, the people who need to see a guarantee and feel safe, the people who need to understand exactly what they're going to get, and the people who need to know every single detail of their offering, and they're the due diligence buyers. So those are the 4 areas you're going to want to place your calls to action in order to get conversions. I have a really cool interview with a sales page writer named Danny Page. I'm going to put that right here so you can watch that interview. If you're interested in either writing your own sales page or you're a freelance writer who wants to write sales pages for your clients, you're definitely going to want to check out this interview where she goes into detail about how to actually get those clients, how to do the writing, all that cool stuff. So check out that interview. And I hope this helps you write your sales page.